Hot 91, the soul of VA. I'm Alana Mercedes, and it is Wednesday at 12 p.m. You already know what that means. It is time for Club Creative Hour. And on today, we're joined by a woman whose mission walks right alongside her movement. Tanecia SweeTee Newman is an empowerment coach, a speaker, and founder of the NewMan Fitness Foundation, a nonprofit rooted in helping people live well through faith, fitness, and service. So whether she's giving away bikes to kids, leading Zumba classes, or creating safe spaces for healing, her work is powered by purpose and grounded in community. So, of course, today we'll be diving into the story behind the service, the journey that shaped that mission, and the legacy that Tanecia is building through wellness, love, and healing. So, Tanecia, welcome to Club Creative.
Thank you. What an introduction. That was amazing.
Absolutely. Look, I love the introduction is my favorite part of all of these interviews. I feel like people are probably tired of me saying that, but it's the truth because I really want to encompass, get to know who we're about to speak to, you know?
Yes.
So I'm very excited to have you here today. Thank you so much for giving me a bit of your time. And of course, I want to start at the beginning. Now, how would you describe the version of you before all of this, before the foundation, before coaching? Who was Tanecia?
Tanecia was a young girl who was broken, who was really trying to find her place in life, and who knew that she had a power within, but did not know where to harness, where to place that power, what to do with it. There's always been this deep knowing that I had purpose in life.
Yeah.
And that my voice, was an instrument that I was supposed to use. But I just did not know how to use my voice. So that's who I was prior to who I am today, chapter 43 of Tanecia Newman.
Wow. And you just celebrated your birthday, didn't you?
Yep, in
Happy
May.
belated. Yes, happy
Thank
belated
you.
birthday. So that's amazing to know that you have a power in you, but not quite know how to channel it.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people experience that. So how did you go about finding where to channel that power into? How did you become who you are?
It took a lot of self-reflection, a lot of inner work. It took courage. It takes a lot of courage to really pray what I think is one of the most powerful prayers is, Lord, show me. Because if you're not really ready to see who you are,
That
good
can be scary.
and the bad, because a lot of times we fall into that role of being the victim all the time. We're not the victim, and a lot of times we are the villain. And it was in being bold and courageous enough to say, Lord, show me. And when God did show me, and to be willing to work on every part of me, that's when I became who I am, the butterfly that I am today.
I love it. I love it so much, truly. And I love how big faith is how big faith is in your journey.
Absolutely.
And we'll definitely have to get into that. So with NewMan Fitness Foundation, for instance, founded 5.5 years ago now. And like I said, it is a nonprofit aimed at amplifying wellness and empowerment. So what does it mean to you to live well? Because I know that's a part of your mission. How has that definition changed over these last 5.5 years, if it has?
That's great. Yeah, it definitely has. And that's the continuous work of show me, because as I heal and as I'm continuing to heal, because healing is not a destination,
Correct.
It's a journey. So as I continue to heal through certain chapters of my life, being able to live well just looks different in every stage of my life. At one stage in my life, when I first developed or founded NewMan Fitness Foundation, it was literally how I found keeping active, being intentional about movement and self-care is what birthed NewMan Fitness Foundation. And I knew that was a feeling that I discovered as something that just wasn't for me. I was supposed to share that with others. So being able to provide movement-based activities and programs and sharing that with other people, that is what living well for me at that time in my stage, at that stage of my life was about. Now that I am in a new stage in my life where I am now trying to parent through grief, recently, a little over a year ago, my 23-year-old daughter passed away in a car accident. And so now I'm navigating life differently and how to live well through that. And all these different chapters of my life, living well look different. So I'll even go all the way back to when I was 7 and I had my first encounter with that negative voice. And depending on certain beliefs, but for me as a woman of faith, and believe wholeheartedly in Jesus Christ and God, I identify that voice as the devil, the adversary, my first attack came at 7 years old.
Wow.
So
7.
Yeah. That's why I absolutely hate the devil. And that's why I am on a mission to live well and to bust hell wide open.
Oh, we are going to get into that. You best believe it. Because when I saw that sentiment on your page, I was like, oh my goodness, like, what do you mean by that?
Yeah.
That's a really strong mission. So I definitely want to get into that.
Okay. So at 7, living well just looked like being a little girl who was just trying to navigate who she was and discover who she was and be heard and be seen and combat those negative voices that were trying to attack. And then at 18, as a young teenage mother, living well looked like just being able to put food on the table and to combat depression. And then at 30 or 28, when I became a single mother for the second time, was trying to combat postpartum depression. And that's when the movement and activity came in. And then now at 43 is putting everything that I've been through up into this place in my life. And my faith is my foundation.
Absolutely.
It has always been. So living well for me looks like taking the time to enjoy the journey, do the small things. Like just recently, last week, me and my youngest daughter went blueberry picking.
I saw.
And that was a complete accident. Now, the old Tanecia would have completely fell apart because that wasn't my schedule for the day. I was on my way to Richmond for an appointment, and on the way to Richmond, the appointment got canceled, and was like, okay, well, let's just catch the ferry, the Jamestown River Ferry. We went to Surrey County, then we found this farm, and it was a beautiful thing. So living well looks different in every stage, and I am on a mission to help people live well. And it's not about the money. It's not about the cars. It's not about the clothes. It's about what you have available to you within this 24 hours in a day and what you can do with it.
And I love that so much. And I think that speaks to the story about how you guys stopped and were picking blueberries. And that wasn't a part of the schedule, but it definitely does go into living well. It's taking these little moments in life and making something special out of them. Even the most random ones, like I have an appointment, but I also want to pick these blueberries with my daughter. You know what I mean? So that's absolutely beautiful. And I love how movement is the expression or your outlet of choice when it comes to that. So of course, with NewMan Fitness, you guys have plenty of initiatives. What would you say is the one that stands out the most to you, the most prominent that you see people really, I guess, taking into or taking a hold of? Yeah.
Absolutely. The one that is most prominent and I see to get a lot of positive interaction and involvement is our holiday bike drive. Now, last year, based off the circumstances with the loss of I can't say loss, with the passing of my daughter, we took a break. And I'm not quite sure if we're going to revisit it yet this year because that's part of living well is identifying what you need.
There you go.
You know?
Absolutely.
And it's a lot of work when you do big initiatives and community work. So, but that was the holiday bike drive. And what that looked like over the span of, I believe we did it 4 years in a row, we were able to put over 300 bikes in the community, not just for kids. We also did it for older adults, senior citizens.
Excellent.
This one lady was so appreciative. She got the 3-wheeler bike with the little basket attached to the back. And I literally spent a couple hours teaching her how to ride the bike.
Wow. Oh, that is beautiful.
It's so rewarding.
I was going to ask, like, what in that? Because obviously community is very important in your life. I see that. So in doing that and giving back to the community, how has that fed you? Like, what kind of benefits do you reap from giving so much of yourself to the people around you?
Yeah. Growing up in church, that song that they sing, even during during offering, give and I'll give
it back to you.
you. Press down, shake it together,
There
run
you
it
go.
over. And for me, the benefit is the growth that I experience. I will admittedly say that I was selfish for a very extended part of my life. I did not want to share my food. And that could have been because I'm the oldest sibling of 4.
Okay,
So
that would make sense.
I had
That would
to
make
share
sense.
everything.
I think my sisters would say the same thing, so that makes sense. Yeah.
But once I got to a point in my life where I can make my own decisions, I made the decision to be selfish. And selfishness looked different. Now, there's a healthy way to be selfish, and there's an unhealthy way. And I was in the unhealthy way for a moment. And so the benefits that I receive is not just it coming back the way that I gave it, but it has come back in so many different ways. And if I can be very transparent, even in this point in my life, as I'm transitioning and trying to navigate this new space as a mom who's grieving the loss of a child, I had to step away from a lot of things, and that impacted me financially. Having to step away from work and contracts. I mean, things were set in place, and God told me to let it go.
Yeah.
So in doing that, there came a trusting, but in that, from the seeds that I've sown and what God has allowed me to do through giving back to the community has shown up and given back to me in ways I can't even explain.
That is beautiful. There's so much that comes out of, dare I say, that sacrifice, of sacrificing your time, your own resources in order to give back. It always does come back to you tenfold. That's what it says. So I think that's absolutely beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you keep it locked here. We have Tanecia Newman in the building for Club Creative on Hot 91, the soul of VA. Hot 91, the soul of VA. I'm Alana Mercedes, and for Club Creative Hour today, we are joined by none other than Miss Tanecia Newman, who is making waves in this community and using her mission, her life, to change the people around her. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as you've heard, or maybe you didn't hear, but I thought it was cool. A little over a year ago, you set yourself on a mission to bust hell wide open. And when I saw that, I was like, that is a strong mission to go after. I feel like there's a lot that goes into that kind of mission. I feel like it's a mission that requires the strength of something beyond human comprehension.
Absolutely.
So with that, I want you to tell me, what did you mean by that?
Yeah. Again, and I'm going to often refer to my past and upbringing in church. And
Absolutely.
I used to always hear the preachers say, or individuals say, I'm going to give the devil a black eye. And I'm like, here in my age and developing my own relationship with the Lord, I don't want to give the devil a black eye. Anybody, you can recover from a black eye. I really want to bust the territory wide open. And what the Lord showed me in doing that, literally like taking the pin out of the grenade and tossing it and just seeing, hell busting open. And what that looks like for me, it does seem very heavy and loaded, but it's very simple. And the simple acts of kindness, the simple acts of being a reflection of who God is, you're busting hell wide open. The enemy's mission is to kill, steal, and destroy.
Right.
And any way that I can infiltrate the mission of the enemy of killing, stealing, and destroying anything, that's me busting hell wide open.
Wow.
So to walk boldly in my faith and my belief in God, to be bold in the acts that I do in the community, and to also boldly confess that this is not easy work. Because, when you stand 10 toes down and you like, I'm squaring up on hell, the attacks will come.
Absolutely.
But I'm built for this. And it took some time, and please don't get me wrong. It's prayer. It's a lot of seeking God. It's crying, but that's my release, and that's my refueling. So I've had my share of time of being a slave to what the devil does and what the enemy does. I've been a slave to sex. I've been a slave to just the things that are not godly.
Things of the world.
Yeah, exactly. So now I'm on a mission to do the complete opposite. and do what we're supposed to do and make disciples.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And live a life that will hopefully inspire someone else to do the same.
I think you're doing that. I think you are walking in it, and it is bold. You are very bold in it. I love how on Instagram, for instance, you will be quick to put a prayer in the caption or quick to put a rebuke in the caption. I'm serious, and I admire that because I'm like, wow, she is really going hard for this. And I think it's not an easy feat, especially being in a world that doesn't want you to proclaim your faith or doesn't want you to proclaim your mission. Like, that's not easy to do, and you do hold it with strength. You do, and I think that's beautiful to see, honestly. If it's not directly shown that it is impacting people, I want to tell you that it is.
Well, thank you.
Like it's moving work.
God.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, you speak openly about having, or healing from trauma and your walk with faith. So how do you go about balancing being a vessel for others with, even, like I said, just prayers, your posts on Instagram, your community outreach events, things like that? How do you go about balancing that, being a vessel, and also continuing to care for yourself?
That's really good. So it's funny because we chuckled last night. I went to a Bible study class, and these labels that we have now, the introverts and extroverts, if I had to choose one, I'm definitely an extrovert. And I am a proud extrovert.
Yes.
I love people. I love being out and about. I love connecting with God's children. But I also understand in living well, I have to take that time away.
Absolutely.
Just like Jesus withdrew, especially after huge ministry moments. He had to withdraw, and he had to go sit and be with his Father and take the time to be revitalized. And that's what self-care looks like.
Absolutely.
So if we're always going and never taking the time to withdraw and refuel, we're moving like machines. We're not machines. We're not built that way. We're built to do what we're purposed to do. And how can we do it if we're depleted? We're not built to serve from a depleted place. So I hope that answered your question.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
So I guess what I would ask then is, what does that form of self-care look like to you? Because obviously I know you have a very strong relationship with God, but I don't want to say outside of that, because everything I do has something to do with God, but
Amen.
What does that look like for you? Like, what does withdrawing, for instance, look like for you?
It looks like definitely a daily devotion. Just recently, I have set an alarm to where I'm being reminded to pray intentionally. The Bible does say pray without ceasing. It doesn't necessarily mean that we have to be on our knees and that we have to be in a certain place, a quiet place. No, prayer is a continuous conversation.
Absolutely.
So for me, my self-care looks like definitely being intentional with my prayer time, first thing in the morning, and then I try to do it the very last thing at night. If not praying, at least reading my Bible at night. Then it also looks like a movie day. It looks like right after this, going to get my nails done.
There you go. There you go.
But it also looks like me just taking time to be alone and to sit and to process everything that I'm feeling. If I can give you a quick example, so I'm in the middle of moving right now. So this time last year I was moving. The move was connected to the passing of my daughter. So I had to be able to be okay with that trigger, one, and making space to be alone and to process those emotions. And it was the first time that I really believe I spoke out loud and said, because of the death of Tanecia, I now have to move again. And it was all of these things that were connected to that. One, it was beyond my control. And then it was revisiting a very painful place in my life. But that's part of self-care, is to just really being okay with identifying what you're going through and be willing to process it, because healing hurts.
Yes.
Healing hurts. And a lot of people don't want to hurt. They want to skip the healing process. But in living well, and I hope I'm not rambling, but in living well, we have to deal with what we're going through. There's no way around it, because if we don't, it shows up in very ugly ways.
Yes.
Very ugly ways. So yeah.
Wow. No, I mean, that totally makes sense, though. You have to acknowledge, and I say it all the time on my show, you have to acknowledge first what it is that you're feeling and accept it if you do want to move differently moving forward or have any action done, you know? So it's important to take time away to process and to make sure that you are acknowledging those things that you're feeling. Now, obviously, like we've spoken about, you have endured the unimaginable, with the passing of your daughter, Tanecia. And it's clear how deeply she continues to shape everything that you do. She was a very big community figure as well.
Yes,
she accomplished so much in such a short period of time. So how did your vision for life and your mission change after her passing? And I see that, to me, it looks like, again, you guys' missions have always been kind of hand in hand with the impact on the community. But how have you seen it change or make things different as far as your mission goes?
As far as my mission, with her passing, I have now shifted to focus more so on the young adult community, because that is such a place where in transition, you have now went from a place where you're always being directed and told what to do as a child, and now all of a sudden, boom, you're an adult, and you're being tasked with having to figure life out. And in doing that, you can be led in so many different directions. So the way that the community work that I get to do now is starting to be more focused on the young adult community and helping and just be a support to them. And the thing that shifted my relationship with my daughter and I, especially with her being a young adult, because it's different as being a mother of a toddler, a teen, and then a young adult.
Exactly.
And as parents, we have to shift as well. So the thing that really changed our relationship for the better was when I told her, I am no longer your mother, I am your coach. And that shifted. It was like a light switch. And I believe what that communicated to her was that I am allowing you to be this young adult. I am allowing you to make your decisions, but I am going to walk alongside of you and help you and coach you in what to do. And I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm going to wait for you to come and ask me. But as your mother, I am no longer that mother in that way. I am now your coach. And I believe that if I can, and I believe the Lord confirmed this for me, I'm going to pat myself on the back, because I think I was a pretty good coach. Because my daughter was a very beautiful individual in this Hampton Roads community and beyond. And she has touched and transformed so many lives in her 23 years on this earth. So yeah, the Bible says that a good tree bears good fruit.
Absolutely.
So, and in my grieving and seeking the Lord and just going through what I was going through emotionally, he reminded me of that scripture. And he said, you have been a good tree, and your daughter was the good fruit. So yeah, wow. And I really do hope I'm answering your question.
No, you absolutely are. I'm just soaking it all in, because it's beautiful to me how you've taken something that would break a lot of people like outright. Don't get me wrong. I know that this is probably beyond difficult to handle and to express, but the way that you have shown up and continue to show up in your community and in your work for your daughter, it's just, I think it's beautiful. And it's truly, like I said, it can't be a human kind of strength.
It is not.
I don't believe that it is, because a lot of people would have, I want to say, rolled up in a ball and just wouldn't have been able to function anymore. Yeah. So I love how you've taken her legacy and her work and her passion and everything that she did and have continued to make it beautiful. You've continued to make it a prominent part of this community and beyond, like you said. So I think you're doing an incredible job. Yes, you are. You have bared good fruit, and you still continue to, for sure.
Thank you.
Yes.
And you know what? If I can give a shout out to all the creators out there who knew her, for those who might not know her as Tanecia and know her as the Young T.
Yes.
And all of those who have lined up with her. And I heard TZ So Dope on the radio the other day. Mm-hmm. She's one of those who had just really had an impact on my daughter's life, and all the other creatives out there, her friends who have supported her, who worked with her, from the photographers to the models to the hair stylists, because she was a creative director.
Yes.
In a lot of spaces, editorial hairstylist. She was just a genius, my daughter, Tanecia, the young T. And for those who really rocked with her, I thank y'all. I appreciate y'all.
Absolutely. She did amazing things in this community. And like I said, you are continuing to carry it on. So it seems like you're not building just a business or anything like that. Like you said, it's not about the money or the accolades, but you are building a legacy in a community in its own right. So what do you hope it is that people are taking away or remembering the most from your work and from the things that you're doing for the community?
I have a tagline, and it says, keep it moving. So whatever it is, and because movement, things change, things happen in movement. And don't get me wrong, it's not about being busy, but it's about being purposeful in your action and in your movement. So that's what I really hope the takeaway is. And I can also share this. One day I was laying in my bed, and depression was trying to creep up on me and try to grip me. And I the only reason I was able to identify it, because I've been there before, and it was probably the day after my daughter's passing, of us learning of her passing. And I laid in the bed, and I literally had to slide out of the bed. And I was determined to get my feet on the floor, because if I can get my feet on the floor, then I could stand up. If I could stand up, then I could walk. If I could walk, then I can keep moving. And it's in that time, in that moment, where had I just balled up in that fetal position and just allowed those emotions to consume and overtake me, I wouldn't be who I am today. I wouldn't be here right now. So I'm saying all of that to say, keep it moving. Keep your mission moving. Keep your plan moving. Keep moving in what you know that you are called to do. And if you have any questions, then prayer is a beautiful thing. And you have to we also have to understand that prayer, sometimes you might not always get the answer immediately, but it does calls for reflection and what that looks like. Well, what is the word, or what is the direction you got maybe 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 2 months ago? What is that direction, and what is that word that you got? Keep moving on that. Keep going forward. And to those that are in school here at Norfolk State, sometimes I know it gets weary, and you might have that one class that you think you can't pass, but guess what? Keep it moving. Keep reflecting on those notes and doing what you got to do to keep moving towards the mark, and achieve what it is that you're called to do. And sometimes you do, like when life hits you and circumstances happen, it can throw you off. But just keep moving.
You have to keep moving.
Keep it moving.
I love that. And it's an all-encompassing statement. Very clear directions. Simply keep going, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all stay tuned. We still have Miss Tanecia in the building for Club Creative on Hot 91, the soul of VA. Hot 91, the soul of VA. I'm Alana Mercedes, and for Club Creative Hour today, we have been joined by a light, ladies and gentlemen. Miss Tanecia Newman of NewMan Fitness Foundation, of an entrepreneur, an empowerment speaker. It just amazing, an incredible woman who is using her life to form real connections, real community, real legacy. I have learned so much from this conversation. I think that I've taken away more than what I expected to.
Oh, wow.
Honestly, yeah, I love the way that you think. I loved the sentiment about pressing forward and just keeping it moving. Like, I think that a lot of people can learn from that with any storm in life, any situation that you're in. So I would ask you, because you have seen so much, because you have done so much, what was a moment for you amidst everything that you've been through that showed you this is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing?
Ooh. Oh, wow. Now I'm at a loss for words. I think the moment that I got rebaptized, and that was March 28th, 2024. And when I got rebaptized, it was literally a month later that my daughter passed away. And during that weekend, when we learned of her passing, I was 4.5 hours away on a ministry assignment. Yeah. So the ministry assignment was me doing fitness. It was a women's event. So I was doing fitness, and then I was also doing a talk called Shaped Well. So
Yes.
SHAPE is an acronym. S is for spiritual gifts, H is for heart, A is for abilities, P is for personality, and E is for experiences. So after understanding that I had to be rebaptized because this was a new place in my life, this was a new path that I was taking, and the rebaptism for me signified that supernatural strength that was going to be needed for this next season in my life. And then the ministry moment that was connected, or the ministry opportunity that was connected to that, that's when I realized, I was like, yeah, this is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. Because had I not got rebaptized and received whatever it is that the Lord was doing for me in that moment, I would not be as strong mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and even physically to keep going. And so I believe that was the moment when I got rebaptized. There was a deep knowing, there was that inner knowing again that this is for something that is about to happen. Yeah, so because of the way that the Lord has allowed me to structure my business and the wellness and connecting my belief in the Lord and what's needed here on earth, and being able to merge those two together, and the things that I did for my own personal healing throughout my life, I'm just like, yeah, this is what the world needs. And for those who are willing, they'll receive it. And for those who aren't, maybe those are just not the ones I'm called to serve. So being okay with who I am purposed to connect with and who I am called to serve, and knowing that what I offer is purposeful, and what God has called me to do is so much greater than just one individual. Myself, it's so, the work that I get to do is I can't even articulate it. I can't really put words to it, because just God is just so amazing. But that was the moment. That was the moment when I got rebaptized. I knew something was about to happen. I just didn't know what.
Wow. Well, all I can say is that your words are felt. Your reasons, like the way that you knew something was going to happen. More than anything, I think that preparation, as hard as it may be for our minds to comprehend it, it is purposeful for multiple people. And I think you have gone about doing that very well, touching multiple people in that. So I thank you for being willing to be open and to share those experiences with the public, because who knows who this is touching, and who knows who you have touched along the way. Now, and I know you said that you, of course, had your Shaped Well series, which I thought was really interesting. And like I said, I feel like there's a lot of men and women alike who could learn from what it is that you're doing. So are you expecting to do anything else similar to the Shaped Well series, or what do we have coming up in the future?
Yeah, so right now, NewMan Fitness Foundation has been put on hiatus. That was part of my healing. So that has been put to the side. But as far as the Shaped Well, I am definitely seeking God to see when the next cohort is going to happen. It is an 8-week session. It is free, and it is really built around helping individuals develop a personal relationship, their personal spiritual development. It's not for us to sway you on what to do and where to go, but it's just really come alongside these young people, young adults, and to just help you see that you do have spiritual gifts, that your heart, the type of heart that you have, God wants to use that. He can. Your abilities, there's so much talent out here in Hampton Roads alone. Then your personality, someone might point out and say, you got this wrong with you, but no, God can use that. And then your experiences, especially those painful experiences. And I'm here to, as a living witness, my painful experience as being a mother who lost a child is now being used to glorify God, is being used to help others grieve gracefully, to navigate grief, to be able to still move forward and live. A lot of times when we lose a loved one, it's hard to keep living.
Absolutely.
So I do believe that that's like my main focus right now, is just helping people live well through whatever loss. A loss of a child, a loss of a job, a loss of a marriage. I've been through all of that. A loss of your self-identity, your self-esteem. It's just still learning how to live well. So to answer your question, there is another cohort coming up.
Oh, wonderful.
Just follow me on Instagram. I post on IG. I don't know if I can drop that.
Absolutely. Please, by all means, plug everything. How can people get in contact with you? I'm sure they would like to.
You can definitely follow me. It's my first and last name, TANECIA NEWMAN 365 365 on Instagram. And I'm still navigating that space. It's a lot. I'm in a stage of my life where I'm rebuilding a lot, and I'm okay with that.
Yes.
So rebuilding, and I think I also want to encourage the listeners today as well. It's okay to rebuild. It's grace in rebuilding. When God wants to do a new thing in your life, he is not going to rebuild on faulty foundation. God is not going to rebuild on anything that anybody else has established or built, because God is our solid rock. He's the cornerstone. He is the foundation, the firm foundation. And if God had to tear it all down to rebuild it, it is grace in that. And we just got to give God glory and give him praise for rebuilding us. And not only rebuilding us, but rebuilding us in a way that is so much better than we were
ever
at
could have
first.
imagined.
Yeah.
Yes.
His ways are not our ways. His thoughts are not our thoughts. And so we just have to be thankful and just show gratitude for the rebuilding, and to be here and to live well through that rebuilding. Okay, Lord, this ain't the route that I thought I was going to go on, but I'm okay.
Yes.
I'm going to live well.
Live well and keep it moving.
Yes.
Keep on moving.
Keep it moving.
So I absolutely love that. And I hope that has encouraged some of our listeners today by all means, because people go through things every day, and I understand that. But I hope that this was able to open up your mind to a new perspective.
Yeah.
With that. So I want to thank you so much for your time today, Tanecia. Thank you for, again, sharing your life with us, your heart with us. And I hope that everything that you do, as I can see it is, continues to prosper and just does well. Continue to help the community and others through your story.
And thank you for creating this space and allowing me to speak so freely.
Of course. Absolutely. That is what Club Creative is all about. So, again, I thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I feel like that might have been your mental health moment for the day. Okay, keep it moving. That really might be it. But make sure you stay tuned. I definitely have your Hot 1 at 1 coming up at the top of the hour on Hot 91, the soul of VA.